And a good Thursday afternoon to you, wherever you might be. So, whether it's down the street, around the corner, across America, or somewhere around this great big world, thank you for taking the time to tune in. And if you're not watching this live and you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. We're having some technical difficulties. Can't can't speak for spluttering. Uh, with Claudio, he was on here, but then the internet where he's at in Florida with his ball club is acting squirrely, and so he had to duck out, and he was taking it outside, but he just informed me that slow internet here, he said, and so that might be a problem. But thank you for taking the time to tune in. We'll hang out, see what happens, see if Claudio can get back in. Uh, and that's the way it is when you go live. Sometimes these things happen, but nonetheless, we're here. Excuse me. We're here. We're alive, and we are live. You see what I got here? Okay. There's Dax from Canada. Yo, 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 and yo, 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 back to you, Dax. Let me see what. All right, let me take a minute here uh, to resend another link to Claudio. Uh, just hang in there with me, people. You're getting to look and see what happens when things don't quite go as planned. But we'll hang in there. Let me send him another link here so he can get in the studio. And if I do that, okay, I sent that to him. Uh, Let me inform him. We'll see what happens. Where was I? Dax said, I'm actually home and I can see this. Well, that's that's good, Dax. I'm glad you're at home and I'm glad you can see this, and I hope everything is well with you in that they're Canada land. Uh, hey, listen, I want to thank everybody. There's Miss Alice. Hello, Miss Alice. I want to thank everyone that helped us push out our last show. We had Krista Grays on with us, and her mom and her dad and her brother, the little one. She was taking a nap, I think. But anyhow, what a tremendous family. And I want to thank each and every one of you for pushing that out there. As of today, we have uh, over 2,000 views, and we only aired this on Facebook. I put it on a couple other places, but it was aired out primarily on Facebook. Here comes Claudio. See if we can get him back in again. Part of him is here. I'll show you what we got. That's what we got. I hear something, but I don't see anything yet. And here is one of my favorite people. I think I hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
I hear you, but I don't see you.
That might be a plus.
That now, look, Claudio. I always tell people I have a face for radio, not for live streaming. But listen, we can't see you, but we can hear you. How's that?
All right. Well, I don't know if you want to try to somehow get me on. I don't know what else I can do here on
Yeah,
this end. I clicked on everything I was supposed to click on, so it's up to you.
yeah, yeah. If you don't pop up on the screen, I wish I could do something, but I can't. But I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Well, I'm ready.
All righty, bud. We're live. Uh, I figured you'd come stumbling in here sooner or later, somehow, some way. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today the head baseball coach from Carnegie Mellon University out of Pittsburgh, my good friend, and I mean that sincerely, Claudio Reilsono. So, Claudio, welcome to the show one more time.
Well, thank you so much. I apologize for any delays. For some reason, the internet is slow here, and but we're on. And I appreciate your friendship. Appreciate you wanting me on the show. Thank you.
Well, if I could shake this cold, I'd be a whole lot happier. But nonetheless, we'll bark on. I mean, we'll continue on.
There you go.
So you're in Florida with the ball club,
Yes,
and you've been here how long now?
I got here Sunday night, I believe, and I'm yeah, Sunday night. Yeah, so been here a while. For me, like I said, it's crazy because I'm blessed to do what I do without question. But the older I get, the more I don't like leaving home. I miss home.
Yeah, tell me. Uh, Me and the missus, we're like two homebodies anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, if we go to the store, it's like an adventure.
Right. Well, and then you get spoiled with all the Zoom and all that kind of stuff. So I used to have to travel 3 days a week, which was crazy. I used to have to go all over the country for the scouting company that I work for, the Global Scouting Bureau. But we don't have to do that as much anymore. We've changed the model, and at CMU, the only time I really have to travel far there is when we go to Florida, because everything else obviously is maybe an hour away. So you kind of get spoiled a little bit.
Right, right. So you've been at Carnegie Mellon University for quite some time, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm starting my 17th year there, and boy, those years flew by. But what a blessing! For me, it works perfectly. My coaching there, because of the other things that I do, and I absolutely love it. And the people at CMU have always been great to me, and my players have always been blessed to have great people to coach, and just makes it fun.
Claudio, did you tell me one time? Forgive me because my old mind sometimes don't fire up right. But did you tell me one time? Uh, Now Carnegie University or doesn't recruit like other colleges.
Right.
Is that right?
Very, very right. Yeah, it's a 15% acceptance rate. It's to me, I always say it's an Ivy League school based out of Pittsburgh. It's a great, great uh, university for sure, and it's been that way forever. So I basically get what I get player wise. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying the way it is. You get what you get, and you make the best of it. And like I said, we've excuse me, we've won a couple conference championships. We've had some great seasons. We've had some tough seasons. But I know that before I got there, they had something like 40 some odd years of losing seasons and consecutive, and if not more. And I'm not giving myself all the credit for the turnaround. I'll give myself a little bit of credit, but
Right.
not all of it. You have to have the horses. You have to have good people who can play, who want to play. And I've been blessed to have that since 2005, and I have it now. Like I said, we've had some terrific championship seasons. We've had some tough seasons, but all in all, I tell my players my goal for when they leave, when they graduate, is for them to be upset that they are leaving the team and upset that they're leaving me. I want this to be a great memory for them. I want them to enjoy playing the game, playing baseball, and also playing for me. That's important to me. So it works. How we do it here is different than everywhere else, and how I run my program here is different than everyone else. But like John Calipari says, coach your team. So I coach my team and do things the way we have to do them here, and it works.
Great. So academics come first. Is that what it's
Oh,
all about?
very, very, very much so. Very much so. I mean, it's hard to get in. As I said, about 15% acceptance rate, I believe, and it's hard to stay in. And I give them, give them. It's a must that they have the time to do their work. I always say this: here's the order. Your family comes first, school, then us. And nobody can ever say that I've gotten off that lane. I remember one time our very first playoff game in team history, we were playing at the Ohio State complex, and one of my players, my cleanup hitter, my starting left fielder, he couldn't make the game because he had schoolwork to do back here, and he felt awful. I said, Dan, that's what I said at the beginning. School comes before this. So, we'll make our adjustments, and you deal the cards that are dealt, you deal with the cards that are dealt. You play the hand that you're dealt, and that's what we have to do here.
That's refreshing to hear, Claudio. It is. To an old guy like me, that is refreshing. I don't know what it does to everybody else, but that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside to know that there are programs out there that you're here and you're here to learn. That just does something inside of me. It just makes an old guy feel happy.
Well, again, it's about not being selfish. It's not about me. It really isn't. It's as cliche as that may sound. It's about them. I mean, I've done my thing over the years, and I still want to accomplish things. I never feel like I've accomplished enough, but I want them to enjoy playing. I want them to do great in school, obviously, because as Chuck Noll used to say, you want to do your life's work, and that's what they're here for. They're not paying all this money to play baseball. So them coming out and giving me everything that they have, that's one of my rules, care about this program, care about this team. And they do, and they give me everything they have, and it works. And so we have good people here. And real quick, the old real estate saying, the three most important things in real estate are good location, good location, good location. Mm-hmm. I say the three most important things in business and sports and really in life is good people, good people, good people. If you have good people, you're going to have a shot to succeed. If you have bad people, you're not going to make it. And a saying that I tell my family, I tell my team, I tell anybody that's partnering up with me in business is if we all pull the same rope at the same time, the same direction for the same purpose, we will get a great result. And that's what we go by.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Let me, speaking of life, let me find this here real quick, and I'll put this up here for the folks to see. Claudio has written a book, and I like the title, Claudio. Lead from the heart up, not the neck up.
Yes.
How to create a positive winning culture on the field and in the office. And did I read it correctly that one of your former players wrote the foreword to this book?
Yes. Nick Kaplak, who I coached his brother, Vince, in 1988 when I was a 23-year-old head baseball coach at Quaker Valley High School, which is where I went to school. Then I coached Nick the next year in 1989. And the Kaplak family to me is my family. That's how close we've become. And I asked Nick. Was a very successful coach in high school in Ohio. And I asked him to write the foreword, and he did. And so I had a bunch of former players write something. I said, write whatever you want. I think about 27 former players wrote in the back of the book, something about our relationship or their time with me as player coach and even after.
You got to have a lot of fond memories of these young fellows that came to school, played on the baseball team, and then went different ways, entered different walks of life. You've got to have a lot of fond memories of them.
I do. And again, it's to their credit because they're good people. And so many of them I still keep in touch with. I'm going broke, going to weddings, and I appreciate that very, very much when they say, hey, Coach, of course we didn't forget you, and I appreciate that. And I mean, I talk to Vinny and Nick every single day, Vinny and Nick Kaplak, every single day I talk to them through text or through phone calls where I see them. But the other guys, obviously, everybody's all over the country, but we still keep in touch. Some of them still will give me a ring for some advice, which I appreciate, or they'll remember. I had a kid about 2 months ago tell me that a piece of advice that I gave him years ago laid true today, and how it helped them or whatever. And that means a lot to me, because if all they learn from me is how to hit a fastball or how to throw one, then it's not good. I'm trying to teach them how to hit curveballs of life, and so like I said, how we do it here works. But I have great memories of the players on the field, and like I said, so many of them keep in touch off the field. Mike Raperto is another young man who I've known, since I know him and his family since he was a little kid, and I coached him in high school as well, and we still keep in touch. So that means a lot to me, that we have that kind of relationship.
So this year, when did the season start for the school?
This week,
This week, okay.
Yeah, we're up against it. I mean, we weren't able to practice much before coming to Florida. We weren't able to throw much. Zero hitting, zero. I mean, maybe some tee work, and that's it. A little bit of glove work. So we basically came out here. We didn't hit the ground running. But they fought. We've been fighting. We've been trying hard, working hard, and we lost one game 3-2 in extra innings, and we have another game today. And when you don't have the time to practice as much as you would like, you really have to ramp up and turn up, as I always say, turn it up, the heart and the passion, and they have. And we have our last game today. We got poured on yesterday, rain wise, but we'll give them a battle today and go from there.
Cool. When you go back home, do you have any other long trips?
No. I'm hoping. My eye's been on the weather. It looks like I'm going to sneak through the weather, hopefully, and I leave tomorrow, and I'm back. Obviously, I'm back home tomorrow, so always excited to get home. Like I said, I am so grateful and so blessed to be doing what I'm doing in baseball. I remember years ago, George. I'll share a story with you and your listeners. Your great listeners. I own a landscaping business that my dad started back in 1971. And this was probably in 1999. I said, this place I was working at is not too far away from the Pittsburgh International Airport. And a plane flew by, and I said, nobody's going to pay me to do any baseball work and fly me around the country. It just isn't going to happen. I was getting down on things because things weren't going my way. I was getting a lot of rejections. And, people have been flying me around, not only to coach baseball, but to scout professional baseball and to play in some celebrity golf tournaments. So all over the country. So I'm really, really grateful that these things have happened. I'm grateful to the people who have hired me or asked me to participate in their events. And I thank God all the time. I thank my parents for their support. And at the risk of sounding funny, I thank myself because I did not give up. I worked my tail off, George, trust me. And, I got knocked down. I got back up. And I don't say that in a bragging way. I just appreciate where things are.
Speaking of rejection, what advice would you have for young people or anyone as far as that's concerned? When rejection comes, I mean, it hurts. And we've all faced it. What advice would you have for people?
And I like, and first of all, it's a great question. And you said for any age, because, I'm 57 and I still have dreams and goals. It isn't like I stop. I still have more things that I want to accomplish. Dan Marino, his quote was, "You can do more. You can always do more." Mario Andretti's quote is, "If you have everything under control, you're not going fast enough." And my quote is, "Keep accomplishing, what's next." But the best advice for that is, and I have tons and tons and tons of rejection letters. Some people didn't even respond to my letters, applying for certain jobs or phone calls. Number one, it only takes one time for you to be right. That's it. One time. Number two, there's an old story that the old farmer, his donkey, his favorite donkey, his workhorse donkey, fell in a water well. And he couldn't get him out. So he wanted to bury him. So he would throw dirt on the donkey. And he kept throwing shovels of dirt on this donkey. Well, the donkey kept shaking it off. And the dirt was underneath him. And there was so much dirt thrown on him, but so many times he shook it off that he was able to use that dirt to climb out of the well and live. So,
Mm.
you're not buried, you're planted. And so that's what that's what I did do. There was so many rejection letters, and it hurt, and while all my friends were going on with their life and achieving success and doing their thing, I was still chasing that carrot. And, there was a few times, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't want to quit. Yeah, I wanted to quit. But the motivation that my parents, I wanted to accomplish things for them. I promised my mom, my mom had passed early, and I promised her I wouldn't quit, promised my dad. And then at the same time, those people who didn't believe in me, or I shouldn't say didn't believe in me, they didn't want me to succeed. And there's a difference.
Mhm.
I was not going to allow them to win. So I used my best ally, my worst enemy, to be my best ally. And I didn't give up. As cliche as that sounds, as simplistic as it sounds, I was persistent. I got knocked down 6 times. I got up 7. And as they say, I wasn't buried. I was planted. I just kept going. And that's what I encourage anybody to do. Now, originally, I wanted to play professional baseball, and that didn't work. I mean, I was good, but I did not do well in my 3 tryouts. I just didn't do well. There's a story to that later if you want, but I could have given up. But I had already had some coaching experience, and I said, well, I'll go after it that way. And then I got the pro scouting job. And then I had pro coaching offers, many after that. But I've turned them all down because I like my life the way it is. And one of my heroes and friends whose birthday is today, as a matter of fact, Jim Valvano, he used to say, don't mess with happy. So, but yeah, I just encourage people to, as cliche as it sounds, to keep at it, to not give up. And if things don't go exactly the way you want, you can still work in that world. There was a singer, there was a girl who wanted to be a country singer. So she moved to Nashville. She tried, nothing. She said, well, I love this world so much. Do I just quit? What do I do? So she became an agent, and she works in that world, very successful agent. So, I'm very happy. And by me telling you all the traveling that I don't like to do, things worked out perfectly for me. So I'm very grateful. And like I said, I just encourage people when things are not going well to continue to keep at it, read books, motivational books, look at some people that have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, see what they've gone through. I've had so many people have impact on my life, so many people, and use those people to encourage you, to motivate you to go to that next step and just chip away at that tree. And one more thing, again, I told this to my team years ago, and I said, we had to win. We had 2 straight championship years, but we got off to a bad start. I said, look, we have to win 8 games in a row to make the playoffs, 8 games in a row. Well, my player said, geez, how are we going to do that, coach? I said, well, the young boy asked the old man, how do you achieve success in life? And the old man said, by eating an elephant. The young boy said, well, how do you eat an elephant? The old man said, 1 bite at a time.
Uh-huh.
So and that team for the rest of the year, whenever we would break a huddle, we wouldn't say our team name. We wouldn't say win. They said this on themselves. They said the word elephants. That's how I knew I had a special team. We didn't win 8 in a row. We won like 5 or 6, but nonetheless, that's what I tell people. Just, chip away at things, and things can happen in life.
Eat an elephant 1 bite at a time.
Yeah.
And don't mess with happy. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Don't mess with happy.
Yep.
Man.
I mean, I wouldn't have been, like I said, the offers I've had in professional baseball were, some of them were very lucrative and great opportunities, and I appreciate them very, very much. And they were surprised that I turned them down. But would I have been happy? And money is extremely important to me, to be very blunt with you, extremely important to me, because I want to take care of my family. And, as my dad used to say, keep the wolf away from the door. But I would not have been happy. So I'm the type, I really do want my cake and eat it too. I'm working in college baseball. I work in professional baseball. I do a bunch of other things. I'm able to provide for my family, and I get to see my family every single day. I've never missed one of my daughter's events in elementary school, high school. She's in the color guard. She's a junior at University of Pittsburgh. She's a captain of the color guard. Never missed a home game. so I get to have my cake and eat it too.
You are homegrown Pittsburgh fella.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And I can relate to that, being an old Altoona kid. Uh, your scouting uh, duties that you do. You have a company that was formed years ago that
Yes.
does scouting.
Yes, the Global Scouting Bureau. Uh, I started with him in January of 2001. The owner is James Gamble, and I tell you, he's. When I talk about my parents, I get emotional. When I talk about James, I get emotional, as I am now, because that guy gave me a break of a lifetime. And then I got the CMU job through an intern with the Global Scouting Bureau. Uh, but joining that organization, having that organization bring me on board as a scout and a general manager, was a break of a lifetime. And James has become one of my best friends. Really, he's become family, and love James. And again, will always be grateful to what he did for me. But it's a great company. We've changed the model a little bit, but we've run pro tryout camps all over the country, and we've signed players to major league organizations, independent, overseas, Asian market, Colombia, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Mexico, you name it. We've sent players all over the world, and I would say probably 2,800 to 3,000 players. And not being too biased, but I don't think there's a better company. And the Italians have a saying: the fish stinks from the head down. But in this case, it's great from the head down. In other words, if it's bad up top, it'll trickle down. But in this case, if it's good up top, it'll trickle down. And you cannot get a better person than James Gamble. You can't get a better, more knowledgeable baseball person than James Gamble. And you can't get somebody more passionate about helping people than James Gamble. He always said he wants to be people's Santa Claus. And he certainly was for me, for sure.
Being born and raised and living in Pittsburgh, Claudio's name is no secret. You're involved in television. You're involved in the boxing world. You're just involved. I guess that can make it, in a nutshell. Claudio, you're just involved.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Because I follow you. Espinal, he's not always out front somewhere. He'll be hiding amongst the stuff. But he's always watching. He's always listening. And you do right well, sir. And that's the highest compliment that I could possibly give you. You do right well.
Thank you.
That's not good English, but it gets the point across. But in everything that you do, and I've watched you, Claudio, and I've listened to you, with everything that you do, the thing that really impresses me the most is you do it with a passion, regardless of what it is. Now, I don't know much about your landscaping business, but I'll guarantee you, from the other endeavors that you're involved in, and with the passion that I see in those endeavors, I'd have to say, and I don't think I'd be mistaken, but I have to say that you probably have a great passion for the landscaping business too.
Well, first of all, those words mean a lot, especially coming from you. I respect the heck out of you, and I appreciate everything that you've done on the air and off. So thank you so much for those kind words. Again, the title of the book, Lead from the Heart Up, Not the Neck Up. My mom used to always say, never speak from the neck up, speak from the heart up. So that's where I got the title. And what she meant by that was just what it says, care about what you say, mean what you say, be passionate about it. And they used to say about Roberto Clemente, he didn't order a cup of coffee without being passionate about it. So, maybe it's being Italian. That's just how I am. I don't know. And that's how my parents were, and very, very passionate, very affectionate, very emotional. and I wouldn't change it. That's just how I am. Um, at the same time, as they say, Shakespeare said, "You tickle me, I laugh; you prick me, I bleed," and that's how I do it, and that's just me. I let it. What do they say? You wear your emotions on your sleeves, and I guess I do. But yeah, that's how I am. I can't change. I can't. I think maybe through the years I've hardened a little bit because of different experiences. But at the same time, again, if when I care a lot, and when I love a lot, and that's and as far as the things that I do, I want to do them to the best of my ability. I want to provide entertainment, information for the people who watch or read, and impact. Again, Jim Valvano used to say his favorite word in the English dictionary was the word impact. So I like to have impact on people, want to entertain them with some of my work, and also want to inform and be educational and motivational with my work.
Your mom and dad has to be awfully proud of you, and your life exemplifies theirs. And regardless of how old a person gets, you can always, if you watch that person, you can always get an idea of their upbringing, whether it was good, bad, somewhere in between, indifferent, whatever it might be. But your upbringing, that's why you are the way you are, Claudio. And I've had times in my life where I said, excuse me, where I've said, well, I'm not going to care about that no more. And I knew when I said it that I was lying to myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna be hard about that, whatever it is. Uh, but then with the next heartbeat, you get to thinking you can't be that way because that's not who you are, and that's not what you are,
Yeah.
and that's just the way you are. You've got a YouTube channel now, right?
Yes, I do. And uh, again, you just when you said that, my parents, I'm glad you don't see me, but I teared up right away because again, my parents. There's another old Italian saying, if you ever see a turtle on top of a fence post, he didn't get there alone. My
Uh-huh.
parents they promised me August 19th, 1973, when I came back from my very first Pirate game, they said, we will do whatever we can to make your dreams come true, give you every opportunity in the world to do what you want to do. We'll always be supportive of you. And they were, and even in my mom's sickness and my dad's sickness, they always stuck up for me. They believed in me. There's a little plaque at the cemetery stone that I have and I remember again Jim Valvano saying this about his father, but this quote said that my parents gave me the greatest gift they could give their child, and that's the gift of belief, and they
Mhm.
believed in me from day one, and no matter how many times I failed or made mistakes, they always believed in me. So that's okay. You'll get there. You'll get there. And wherever it is I am, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have uh, accomplished anything. But I get emotional even thinking about that. But I apologize. What was your question? I'm sorry.
No, 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 that's fine. I didn't have a question.
Oh,
No, you're
but yeah, I mean, again, um, I did it for them, and now I do it for my wife Linda, who's a great girl. I've known her since 1987, and my daughter Ida, who we named after my mom, who's be 21 in May. They always say that question: "What's your why? What's your why?" Well, there's my why, my wife and daughter. And again, I want to honor my parents. We have a game at CMU that we honor my parents. There's a trophy involved, and fortunately, we've won it every year. And I just want to. I always keep their name alive because trust me when I tell you, George, they were. I'll say it again. They were unbelievable people, and they were unbelievable with me. And I miss them. Their passing devastated me. And had a short time with my mom. She was only 48, and my dad was 75, which still to me is young. But you know what? They're with me every single day, and I'm not embarrassed to say I talk to them every day, and I know they're there, and my daughter honors them too with the things that she does, and Like I said, I'm very grateful that I had them I still have them in my life. I always will. And when you said that I make them proud, I hope so. And something that I did, you mentioned the YouTube channel. That's right. And I just was interviewed by one of my best friends, Rick Mitchell, the other day, and he threw me a curve. He said, your parents, you always say how your parents are your heroes. And he said, well, you were their hero. And boy, when he said that, that got to me. And
Mhm.
yeah, the YouTube channel is something I started because I want to share some stories with people. And because, again, so many people have had impact on my life. And because I'm in the sporting world, usually it's former athletes. But so hopefully I can, with some of my experiences, both good and bad, can share with people who watch it. And just started it a couple weeks ago, and it's going pretty good. And people can check it out on Claudio Reilsono TV, and subscribe and check them out. Give me your comments.
You have had the opportunity of interviewing, sitting down at round tables, uh, being at award ceremonies with some of the greatest athletes uh, around, and particularly a lot of the great athletes in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What's that feel like?
Well, I'll give you two examples. Mario Andretti, obviously everybody knows who Mario is,
Hmm.
and Jerry Cooney, the former number one contender boxer, one of the most popular boxers out there. I was interviewing both of them, and I live in the same house I grew up in. So when I was interviewing Jerry, the room that I was interviewing him in was the same room that I watched him fight Ken Norton back in May of '81, where he knocked Norton out in 54 seconds. And here I am interviewing him in that same room, right? And then I remember talking to Mario Andretti, and I remember when I was only four and a half when he won the Indy 500, but I remember I didn't know who he was at the time, but I remember my mom saying in Italian, Andretti won, Andretti won. And I remember where I was in the house when and I remember where my mom was. That's crazy. And then after that, then I knew who he was. And, you have little race cars and, Mario Andretti and here I am interviewing him. And one time I was playing in a golf tournament in New Mexico, and there was a bunch of former Steelers and Pirates who a lot of them I'm friends with, but I still stood back, George. And I said, wow, the hell am I doing playing golf with these guys? You know what I mean? It's
Right,
strange.
right.
Uh, and I there's times and again, I'm not trying to be funny about it, but I mean I may be having dinner with them or whatever, and I still sometimes kind of stand back and say, what am I doing? With this guy or with that guy or so it's really nice. It's one of the perks I guess I've had, and they don't think anything of it. I think sometimes they get tired of me telling them that I remember going to my first game when I was 8 years old, and Jim Rooker was pitching or Rennie Stennett was playing second base. That makes them feel kind of old, but it's a nice thing. It really is, and they're special people. And real quick, I remember in 3 years ago, right when the Pirates had their 1979 reunion banquet at PNC Park. Well, Rennie Stennett, who unfortunately passed a few years ago, was a friend of mine, and he invited me to the banquet. So I remember they showed on the scoreboard, they had the highlights of the '79 Pittsburgh Pirate World Series team. And the team was on the field being recognized. So I was in the suite with family and friends. And there wasn't really that many of us. So I was very honored to be there. So I got really emotional. I started crying, to be honest with you. And my wife said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "But I'm watching the scoreboard. Number one, I really loved that era of baseball. Number two, I love that team, '79 team. Number three, I'm so grateful that I'm still doing this. All these years, I've been putting a uniform on and scouting and coaching, and I'm still doing it. And number four, I'm here. I was invited to this event." And I was just I soaked it in. I really, really soaked it in. And I'm friends with many of the guys from the '79 team. And it just meant the world to me. And I soaked it in, and just I'm grateful. That's the word I'm gonna keep using. I'm grateful.
Do I understand that you played golf with Bill Mazeroski?
I did an interview with him. I was invited to the Louis Lips, a former Steeler wide receiver. I was invited to the celebrity golf tournament, and Bill Mazeroski was one of the celebrities. And I didn't play with him. I was on the, I was one of the, again, in quotes, celebrities who was invited to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then this one TV guy said, Claudio, can you interview him? I said, who? Bill Mazeroski. I said, well, yeah, I guess. And then he gave me a mic, go interview him. So it's on YouTube. If you punch up the Louis Lips golf tournament, you'll see me interviewing him. And to be honest with you, I did pretty good without any script or warning. But it was nice because I remember meeting, my uncle used to work at Three River Stadium in a place called the Allegheny Club, which was a restaurant inside the stadium. And he was friends with Bill Mazeroski. But I remember meeting Bill for the first time. I said in 79, but I think I met him sooner. I think I met him like in 70. I met him in 78. Okay. And to interview him years later was, and I still watch that video sometimes. I said, wow, I'm interviewing Bill Mazeroski. And there's a few things like that have happened that when I was a kid and later as an adult that I've had interactions or moments with people like that. So he's very nice. There's a guy there who is who he is. As Mario Andretti, during the interview, he kept saying, call me Mario, call me Mario. And Jerry Cooney is who he is. Very nice people. Mazeroski he still doesn't understand why people make such a big fuss over him. And I said, that's because of the type of guy you are and the memories you gave people.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Are you are you doing something about Bruno Sammartino?
I'm not doing something there's a documentary. Mm-hmm. Larry Richert, who is, I call him Pittsburgh's voice, the voice of Pittsburgh. He has a great KDK morning radio show. He does a ton of commercials and voiceovers. Was a friend of Bruno, a very close friend of Bruno's, and he did a documentary, which is an unbelievable documentary. So when it comes out May 17th, people have to see it because it's not about wrestling. It's about a guy who was lined up with his mother and other family members that was going to be executed in Italy. And somebody saved them. And then, there's more to it. And then he ended up being, in my opinion, he held the world championship belt longer than any wrestler ever. Mm-hmm. And Bruno was a friend of mine as well, and somebody who had impact in my life, and just a good man. I mean, just a good man. Nobody has anything bad to say about Bruno. He was good with his fans, good with everybody. But the documentary is a must see. It'll have impact on people. It'll get people emotional. People will not believe that he went through all the hell that he went through, especially now with things that are going on in the world. Right. And there was wartime at that time, and how Bruno and his family were able to leave Italy and come to Pittsburgh, and how he was able to become who he was. But again, he used to get very emotional. You'll see it in the show how he got emotional about his mother. That was his hero, and it's a must see for sure.
Where can people see that, Claudio?
That's going to be. I'll make an announcement of it as soon as I know it'll be on. Be streamed, because it's not going to be at the movie theaters just yet, I don't think. But Larry Richards going to put it on a streaming network. He's not sure which one yet, but as soon as it's made available, I will definitely promote it for sure. Because again, I want people to see this because it's a great piece. Yeah,
you promote it, and we'll promote it.
I appreciate that.
I really want to see that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm an old Bruno Sammartino fan.
Yeah,
I remember when him and Johnny DeFazio and Ace Friedman.
That's right.
Chief White Owl.
That's right.
Yeah, they used to come to the Jaffa Mosque in Altoona. And
Altoona was big for wrestling back then, and Bruno used to pack every house he was in. But those names you mentioned, mm-hmm. Dominic Tanucci, Baron Mikel Cicluna, George Animal Steele, all those guys, that's how I got the Batman, That's how I got introduced to wrestling. I remember the exact house. My family was visiting some friends in my hometown. I remember the exact house that I saw first. It was the Batman, because I was a big Batman fan, right, when I was a little kid. And I said, wow, there's Batman wrestling. Then Bruno comes along, he was a big man with a hair slicked back, and he was talking Italian. I said, wow, and that was my guy. And every time I go by that was in 1971, 72. Every time I go by that house, I still think of when I saw Bruno. And again, to call him a friend later on in life, I didn't talk to him every day or anything like that, but I remember, if he heard about an award I won or whatever, he would always give me a call. And boy, that meant the world to me. When I'd see his name on caller ID, it's like, wow, I never got used to it with him. He was almost like mythical to me. Even though I would talk to him, he was like mythical. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was a great man.
Claudio, you have been blessed, my man. And I appreciate, and I mean this, I appreciate your humility. I really do. I know of people, and I'm sure you do too, and other people know of people that it's always the big I or the ego, bigger than an elephant, fills the room. Not the case with you, my man. Not the case. You've been blessed, and you have that humility about you. And please, don't ever lose that.
Well, I appreciate that, George. And again, coming from a special person like you, it means that much more to me. And, I guess it was just the way I was raised, and something that, unfortunately, life is what it is. 1 minute my mom was doing well. Next minute we were told she had 6 months. My dad was doing well. Next minute he was in the hospital for 53 days and he passed. Ray Boom Boom Mancini, the champion boxer, says it's a quick trip from the penthouse to the outhouse. So I always have that in the back of my mind. And not only that, but it's, I'm not trying to be Joe Humble. I'm extremely confident in the things I do, be it baseball or shows or whatever, very confident. But at the same time, I don't think you have to be an arrogant person or put people off or think that you're better than anybody. Right. I know people, and you do too, that maybe have accomplished just a little bit, and their heads are like, you can't put them in a stadium. But then you get a guy like Mario Andretti, who everybody knows who he is, everybody. And here's a guy who, or I mentioned Boom Boom Mancini is another one. There's a bunch of people I can mention that are as down to earth as humanly possible. And that's why I was attracted to those people. But I appreciate your kind words. Thank you.
My dad told me when I was just a young fella, you can be confident, but don't you dare be cocky.
There you go.
And
great words.
Yeah, I never forgot that. And isn't it strange that when your mom or your dad says something like that when you're a young fella, how many times it comes back to you over the years? I mean, in different situations and different places.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're speaking audibly to you.
Yeah.
And saying the same thing again.
Yeah.
It never gets old.
It doesn't, because those lessons, I always joke, if I dropped a pencil, there was a saying behind it. But they always were teaching me. And my daughter, I'm the same way with her. We go for walks, we go for drives, and I teach her the experiences that I've been through, or that my parents have been through, or what I was taught. And she's a great girl. And again, my parents, we had a ton of fun together. When it was time to have fun, we had fun. Mm-hmm. When it was time to teach, it was time to teach. And I soaked it all in. And again, I wouldn't have the life I have if it wasn't for them. And hopefully my daughter can say that about me and my wife someday. And hopefully she can say it now, But, you hit it on the head. What they say just keeps coming back.
Claudio, I could talk to you for hours, my brother.
As I could with you.
When you, I know you got game today.
Yeah.
and you're a very, very busy man. When you come back up north, where the sun isn't shining too brightly, where it's a little bit chilly, but listen, when you get back home, uh, give me a call at your convenience, uh, and let's schedule a redo of this thing again.
Yes.
Because there's lots and lots and lots that we can talk about, and I like talking about life, and I like talking about life to someone that knows what life is about.
I'm honored to do it. I would love to be on. Hopefully the camera works. And I got to mention one more thing. You talk about different people. I do a boxing show, which can be seen on live.vivetv.network. And I do it. The show's called The Boxing Authorities with, I'm not going to call them friends. They're two family members. And that's Luther Dupree Jr. and Smoking Jim Frazier. Unbelievable people. And it's a great show. And, but yeah, so I had to mention those two guys. But yes, I will definitely call you, and we'll definitely set up another interview, and like I said, or a discussion, and hopefully we can get me on video next time.
All right, my brother.
But thank you for everything. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. And you were on my show too. Don't forget, you were on my. So you're on that great list of people too.
Thank you for having me.
All right, brother. We'll have you on again.
All right, brother. Thank you very, very much taking time out of your busy schedule. Good luck to the ball club.
Thank you.
And ring me up when you get home.
Yes, sir. I appreciate everything. Thank you all. Thank you.
All right. Love
Hello
you.
to your wife.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen. My, time went by so quick. That was a warm, fuzzy interview. But listen, I don't say this just to say it. It's not flattery or any of those other things. Claudio is one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet in your entire life. What you see is what you get. And when you see it, it's genuine. And you can take that to the bank. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen, whether you're down the street, around the corner, across America, or somewhere around this great big world, thank you for tuning in and being part of the show today. Push this out there. Share, 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 and share, because it's vital that people hear this. God bless everybody. I'll see you later.